So, welcome to Citizen Climate Lobby Canada's From Social Media to Local Media Empowering Change workshop number 2. This week we are covering Blue Sky, and I've seen some wonderful land acknowledgements from across Canada, including Mohinsik, Treaty 6 territory. And yeah, so wonderful for you to be here tonight. I'd like to acknowledge that the work that we do here at Citizens Climate Lobby stretches across the homes and of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people on Turtle Island and Canadians. You can learn more about your territorial acknowledgements and the land you reside on at native-land.ca territorial acknowledgement. Now, I'll be returning back to the land acknowledgements in about 15 minutes, and I have an interesting activity for us to consider. So here we go. So last week we did building political will locally on social media and the pros, cons, strategies, and best practices on the Twitter and Meta platforms. This week we're focusing on Blue Sky, and it's called Blue Sky 2.0 because we've already done a workshop previously. I've made it better and faster this time, and I've added a couple more insights, and there'll be time at the end to reflect. And next week we'll be being a local spokesperson, amplifying your voice in local media. So Blue Sky is where the people, not the billionaires, shape the conversation. And you can follow us for empowering climate solutions and a stronger, more democratic world at citizenslobbca.bsky.social. And put your handle in the chat too, and I'll be sure to follow you back. And just killing some time here, just to waiting for a couple more people to enter the room, but just reminding people of who we are at Citizens Climate Lobby. We've been around since September 2010, and we've been building the political will for a livable world, one riding at a time, by engaging in democracy and building relationships locally. And what we do is we create the political will for a livable planet by empowering people to claim or reclaim their political and personal power. Fantastic. Oh, and that graph over there is just all the amazing work that our volunteers did last year. So tonight we're doing Blue Sky 2.0, reflecting insights and more best practices. And we're going to review what we shared on our Blue Sky Basics workshop and share new insights. Here's the agenda. We're going to review what we learned last time. Why try Blue Sky? How can you grow your following and amplify your voice, as well as lists, feeds, and starter packs? And then we have some new insights with respects to land acknowledgements and reconciliation, and how does Blue Sky compare? What is Clearsky? And how to deal with GoFundMe and fans only requests. And then some intel sharing and questions and answering at the end, and that will be an open forum. So this is a lot of what we learned last time. These are the main things about Blue Sky. Why try it? Well, one thing about it is you can open it up in various apps. You don't have to go to Blue Sky. You can also use Helios, Flock, Skyhub, or Wren. I don't know how to do that, but you don't have to commit yourself just to Blue Sky. What I really like about it is there's no one algorithm. And in fact, there isn't an algorithm. Unlike on Twitter and Meta platforms, where they actually really control your algorithms, there are no algorithms imposed upon you in Blue Sky. But you can get your own feed, and I will show you what I mean by that. So right over here, if you look at our Citizens Climate Lobby Canada Blue Sky account, I can pick a feed to what I want to follow that day. So I can go to world news, so all-time bangers. I like climate and sustainability, so you can pick your own, or from your lists, you can also create feeds as well. But for the most part, I just do what's ever coming into our own Bluesky account. And basically, it's whatever was posted last that, and then what is being up tweeted, well, up reposted. Okay. So you could get any feed. You own your own data. And I did a little bit on Bluesky, and I did a little bit more research about that. If you want to own your own data, you actually have to initiate by setting up on your personal server. Currently, you cannot move your current Bluesky account from a Bluesky server to your own data server, but maybe eventually someday it will be. But it's not as straightforward as one would hope. But but it is open source, so it's not that bad. And you can also tie your name to your website, and there's a way to do that. So if you'll notice, our name is actually citizenslobbyca.bluesky.social, which is a mouthful. But if I really wanted, I could have done citizensclimatelobby.ca and just tied it to the URL of our website. But I didn't. And if you do have your own website, it's recommended that you also set up a shadow account for Bluesky, like for a bluesky.social account, so people can't take that handle from you as well, and just punch people over to your Bluesky handle associated with your website. And if at any moment I get too technical and you want to stop me, please go ahead. So you own your own data, kinda. You have to have initiated setting it up on your own data server. No chance yet to move from a Bluesky server over to your own personal server yet, but maybe someday in the future, or maybe not. There's no guarantees there. And yes, you can tie your name to your website. I think the best part I love about two best parts, they're both in green actually, are the freedom. There's no ads, there's no data tracking, and there's no attention grabbing things on Bluesky. It's just straight up getting news from people who are, that you follow and you're interested in what they're doing, or whatever sort of feeds that you want. It's really nice. And you're probably wondering, well, how do they make money? Well, eventually they're going to add a few bells and whistles for people, a few extra features that you'll have to pay for, but it won't, but the standard of protocols will still be really good. And people who are activists like ourselves have said, yeah, they're really comfortable with the intentions of Bluesky to keep this a really good space and not eventually make it um, uh, a playground for very rich people. It has moderation. I don't know if you know, but Facebook has no longer has moderation, and goodness knows what is going on Twitter. That's nothing. So you can take the Bluesky moderator, or you can switch. There are other moderators on Bluesky. I don't know how to do that, but I'm satisfied with the moderation service I'm receiving on Bluesky, and I will get to that. Bluesky is also unbuyable because it is open source. This is really cool. On the Twitter and Facebook and Threads and platforms, anytime you put a link to a website, whether that be a news article or your own website or even a YouTube channel, the algorithm gets punched down. They only like original content. So publishers such as newspapers like the New York Times and the Boston Globe have reported they're getting 3 to 4 times the traffic from Bluesky compared to what they used to get from Twitter. And lastly, it's bully-proof. There's no quote dunking, and you can detach quotes. In fact, there's a culture of blocking, and I'm going to give a little bit of an example there. So let's look at this. So this is the original the original post we made on Bluesky, and then someone decided to quote around it. Okay, so are you understanding that? Now, if this was a really rude message and I didn't like it, I could detach the quote. Obviously, I like it because I like hearts and they love Canada. But you can, so when somebody wants to like be rude, sometimes they quote around you to get other bullies to come and attack you as well, but you can just simply detach the quote, which is wonderful. And there's also a culture of blocking on Blue Sky. And I had a really interesting thing happen on this. So somebody made a comment about this being within this video, the video here, they're singing This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land, the Canadian version. And somebody made a snarky comment about it being an American song. And then I was trying to talk with them about, well, what's wrong with that? We're not anti-American, we're anti Trump trying to invade Canada on this at this event. And it was just became an argument and I didn't want to block them. So, but anyway, so what I ended up doing was deleting the conversation and that person deleted the conversation and the conversation just got polite. It was good. So it's much more polite over here, but sometimes we just block. If you don't like the way people are talking, just block. So there's a wonderful culture of blocking here at Blue Sky. So stop me at any time. So next we're going to do how to grow your followers. So as you can see here, it's really important to put an excellent description of who you are and a pinned post. A lot of people follow us and have nothing. They have no posts whatsoever. And frankly, I won't follow back unless there's something there because I just don't want to get caught. So these are the first two things you do when you open a Blue Sky account is make a really good profile and then a really good pinned post. And then you can go over to what are called the starter packs, and the slides are in the chat, but you can get all sorts of starter packs. So you can maybe do like Canada, you can see what sort of Canada is in there. You can do Canada climate, or whatever. And you can start to find starter packs. So there's one, and here's a starter pack right here. And yeah, and it's about researchers. And if you trust this person, Jim Vanderwall, which I'm actually following, you can, I think I've already followed all the people on his starter pack and not many are following back. So anyways, yeah, you can follow lots of people using the starter packs. CCL Canada has our own starter pack, and I'll try to remember to get all of you in there tonight. Okay, so back to there. So you can use the starter packs. You might notice right now that we're following a lot more people than we actually have as followers. I did a whole bunch of following in the last couple weeks, seeing how that's going. And then eventually I go in and cull them back and then find a whole different group of people to follow in different starter packs. So that's basically how I keep growing, is just through starter packs and through following all the people that the favorite people that I follow. Where to find directory on, how do you find this page? Okay, Carrie, what do you mean? What do you mean how to find this page? How to find the starter packs page?
Yes, I sort of missed which button you clicked, and then suddenly there was a whole bunch of starter packs, and I thought, oh, that's useful.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great
Where do I
question.
go? How do I do
Uh,
that?
okay, first I'm gonna cut and paste the slides into the chat just so you can always come back to here just in case you lose it. There's the slides. That's part of it, but I will also go to, so within here is the starter packs.
So yeah, here, where do I get this page? Okay,
I will put it in the chat.
thank
It's
you.
a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go. And for anybody who watches this video, we'll definitely put that in the chat, well, you can find it in the slides, and I'll do my best to also put the starter packs inside the final resource that we develop on YouTube as well as our website. And the other question was from Jim, where to find the directory on Blue Sky? Okay, same question. Am I correct, Jim? It's the same question? I think you got
If it's the same question, if it's the same webpage, yep.
Yep. Okay, great. Fantastic. Oh, feel free to interrupt me. We're a small, intimate crowd tonight. So, okay, so this is how to grow. Great description, pin what you're looking for, use the starter packs. I asked, oh, one thing I've done is I've asked to be included in people's starter packs. So Dr. Catherine Hayhoe had a starter pack for climate finance. And I said, hey, we're supporting Senator Rosa Galvez's climate finance bill. Can we be in your starter pack? And she said, absolutely. So don't be shy to ask to be in other people's starter packs. So if you're from Calgary, you're like, you see a Calgary climate starter pack, then don't be shy. Say, hey, I'm a Calgary climate activist. Can you put me in your starter pack? And they probably will. But if you want to be in somebody's starter pack, make sure you got a good profile too. Like, if you have a blank profile, then they might not include you. But if you have a little bit a good presence on social media, on the Bluesky, I'm sure you'll be fine. Yes, and I do advertise on on Twitter and Threads and Facebook that we're over here on Bluesky, and I recommend that you do that too. And create your own starter packs. That will attract people to you as well. And as with all social media, comment, like, and interact. And one last thing to do is to make sure when you post an image, you include the alt media. So let me see if I can find one. That's really good. Okay, this should have alt text. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta find the alt text. Let's see. No, that's not it. When you post the alt, and yeah, that's probably it. Sorry about that. I should have had this, the alt. And where's the alt text? Oh, yes, there it is. It's not letting me click on it. Oh, anyways, there's alt text that comes with this media, and when you post an image, make sure you include alt text, because that will also increase your capacity to be seen. So that's another pro tip. And there's a couple other resources. There's tips and tricks for Bluesky. This is Rate from Bluesky, so they give you some as well. Sometimes just reading the plain way that other people write is sometimes helpful. So I didn't include everything. So there it is in the chat, and it will also be in the slides. And if you're brave and you don't mind like allowing your computer to be taken over for a while, if you have like 3,000 or 4,000 followers on Twitter, it'll take about 3 or 4 hours for the Skybridge follower to find your Twitter friends and get them over and on Bluesky. It takes time, it makes mistakes, and technically you've got to be a little bit of a wonk to be able to do it, but it did work. I was able to find a few people from I'd say I kept it open for about 3 hours and got about 70 people from Twitter. I found them on Bluesky, and there was about 10% mistakes. And so, but you have to put an extension on your Google Chrome. And then when you're done, remove that extension, as you should never have other programs extensions on your Google Chrome, and also change your password, because you have to give up your password. And then there's more about Bluesky here, and also in the notes. I will also be giving notes out tonight as well. So there's 3 things. There's starter packs, lists, and feeds. Okay. So starter packs we kind of covered. Just know that they're 150 max limit. They're best for workplaces or people in common networks. And it makes it easy for coalition members to follow each other. And I kept that French spelling. I don't know why. And then there's lists. You can create lists on your Bluesky. And then they can be used to create feeds, and you can't create feeds from your starter packs. And they're for researching and monitoring without having to follow. And they're for moderation and labeling. And then there's feeds. These are streams of posts that meet a criteria set by the feed creator. And you can subscribe to and switch between many feeds, including the default, which is the chronological feed that we all get. And note that your chronological feed, if somebody likes a post, the algorithm doesn't punch it up. It has to be reposted for the, not algorithm, but whatever it is, the chronological feed is only, it's only pushed up, your post is only pushed up when somebody reposts your post. And you can create your own feeds. So those are the three main things to to experiment with when you're on Bluesky. I'm going to take a minute here. As part of our work, so I'm switching gears now. As part of our work, we've been asked to like reflect upon as settlers here on how on what we're doing. So I heard a really good land acknowledgement about 2 weeks ago before I started this workshop about how we're tied to the land. And I just thought, how does social media fit in with these land acknowledgements? So last week I did just a short dive into this, looking at the X and Meta flat platforms. And land acknowledgements are supposed to like help us get rid of that doctrine of discovery. There were people here, and despite the internet's intent of a shared space, Musk, Zuckerberg, and big money dominate social media, and they shouldn't. So they're clashing with land acknowledgements. As part of our land acknowledgements, we're supposed to be working on truth and reconciliation, and the X and Meta fuel colonial narratives, enabling unchecked misinformation and racism, and all the while manipulating algorithms to stoke division. So definitely not working towards truth and reconciliation. And they prioritize profit, and these platforms ignore disinformation, and they erase histories, and they deepen economic disparities. And they're unaccountable. So they're like not good for our relationships or accountability, and their infrastructure exploits mining, energy, and land, disproportionately harming Indigenous communities. So basically the conclusion was the Twitter and Meta platforms are clashing with the land acknowledgements that we've been doing, for some time now, we're supposed to be thinking about this. So then I tried to do a similar sort of test for Bluesky, and in comparison to Meta and Twitter, which I gave them a fail for doctrine of discovery, truth and reconciliation, and relationship and accountability. I do think that Bluesky, because it's more of a social shared space, it does a much better job. I mean, I wouldn't give it an A+, but I'm not going to fail it. So it definitely gets a pass. There's moderation and truth and reconciliation, and a lot less friction inside of Bluesky, and a lot less polarization. So definitely does a much better job on the truth and reconciliation piece. And also there's relationship and accountability. So like there is, so it's not perfect, but I do think that Bluesky does a much better job of having us on the healing journey that we're supposed to be on, through our land acknowledgements and as settlers and treaty people here on Turtle Island. And there was two things I wanted to teach you about at the very end here. There's this really cool place. It's called Clearsky, and it's complementary to Bluesky. And I'll put it in the chat. And you can find out, do these networks take a stand on the doctrine of discovery? Oh, Andy, that's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how well they do on their DEI and stuff like that. I was just more analyzing it from the aspect of just being a good settler and trying to walk the right road as we create a better country. But that's a really great question. So anyways, I'm switching gears. Two more things to cover. Okay. There's this place called Clearsky, and it allows you to, see some things about other people's accounts or even your own account. So you don't put the URL, you put your actual handle name, and you can discover some things about yourself. So these are some of the people I've blocked over time. Yep, and these are people that have blocked us. Here's a lot of the lists that Citizens Climate Lobby is on. And there's some of our history. You can't see it because I won't let anybody who's not on Bluesky view our account. And I don't quite know what labels means, but it's interesting to go over to Clearsky and get a handle on, you know, who's following you and what sort of lists you're on. But you can also go and scope out other people. And the last thing, and then we'll have about 4 minutes for questions. Um, so you may have noticed that I blocked a lot of people for a while there. Um, and um, that's because there was a lot of fans only and GoFundMe accounts that were that were following us, and I started blocking them, and especially the fans only. And if you don't know what fans only is you could tell who they were. There was these girls who had whatever who uh you know offering services online, and they had silly looking faces, silly looks on their faces. They were young women. Anyways, you could tell that they're for selling their bodies. And so I started blocking them. And the more I blocked them, the more the more that followed. So then I eventually learned what to do with fans only and GoFundMe. Don't block, just report them and they go away. All right. The more you block, the more they pile on to you. And same with GoFundMe. I mean, they eventually go away as long as you don't follow back. So just that's just my how to handle the fans only accounts or the people that seem to be targeting you that you don't want them to follow you. So that's it. And we've got a couple of minutes left at the end for any questions or comments. Thank you. Well, hello.
Hi, Jim here. I find it interesting. I think it was number 5 in the blocked sites or blocked people. There is, I think it's a Mark Cuban who's actually a really decent poster, good values out of the States. And I noticed if that's not him, that's a similar one. He was number 5 on the blocked. And he's somebody who looks totally legit.
I will go back.
Unless it's the haters getting him.
Oh, you know what also could have happened? And you got to be careful. You can actually go to like the MAGA blockers. There's MAGA blockers and porn blockers. And sometimes people put other people on. Yes, Mark Cuban is a good guy. So you can group block all at once as well.
Oh.
So maybe that's what I got. Yeah, I know who Mark Cuban is. Thanks. I'm going to go check and make sure I haven't blocked him inadvertently. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it great?
And how do you group block?
Oh,
if you don't know that people are in a group?
Yeah, there's you can like go, there's these technically I don't know how to do it, but you can look it up. You can block like all the MAGAs at once, like, but sometimes other people get caught up in them as well. So be careful when you do the group blocking. And exactly how to do it, I haven't done it since I first started, so I've forgotten how, but it's not that hard technically. Okay. You can just Google it. So how do I find the mass blocking lists on Bluesky? That's how you would do it.
I have a question about how to direct people to Bluesky. We have a website and we have a share button for Facebook and Twitter, but I don't know how to add a share button for Bluesky. Do you know how to do that, or is that something I should talk to my website people for?
Okay, I went through it. Okay, so there's 2 things. I'll show you what I had to do, okay? If that's okay with everyone. All right, I am not a technical person, so, and Citizens Climate Lobby couldn't help me, so I had to figure out this all on my own. So, okay, so what I ended up having to do is at the bottom of our website, I had to create little tiny images for each of the icons and then hyperlink them. That was the only way I could get a Bluesky here on the bottom of our website. So that I actually had to make that. And then so people could get to the articles. I got lucky in that the plugin that we had for WordPress, so you can go to the WordPress plugins for sharing articles, and then you can add which ones you want them to be, which social media sites you want to be added onto. Did that make sense?
But it's probably worth pointing out that there's 2 different things going on here.
Yep.
If I understand it right, Kathy, the icons in your footer point to your feeds on those sites, I believe. Yep. Whereas a share icon is an icon that you click within an article to share to a particular network.
I know, we should say this 5 times. Exactly. So what
Yeah.
Andy just said, what's down here at the bottom directs people to our social media sites. And what's at the bottom of the article allows us to share the article on that social media site. Is that,
Carrie, are you working in WordPress?
yeah, I'm working in WordPress.
What
No,
about Carrie?
I think he asked me. Our site is on Nation Builder, and I've actually sent them a
Nation Builder.
chat sort of asking, because at the bottom of each, we do sort of a blog with articles, and it has a share button, and it seems fixed. I can't figure out how to remove Twitter, and I can't figure out how to add Bluesky. So I have a feeling that I need to ask Nation Builder that it's not a Bluesky question. I just thought
I
I
think
would
so.
throw it out there.
Yeah, I think you would have to go to Nation Builder. If it was WordPress, I'd say hit me up offline and I can help you out, but I'm not sure what to do in Nation Builder.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a challenge. We're just sort of figuring this out.
Okay.
Oh, I hear you. It took me a while. It took me a couple months to figure it out, and I figured it out on my own because I got really stubborn one day and I just would not let it go. But now I got it. Good
Thanks.
luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Well, that was brilliant. Thank you for being here. I hope you come next week, because next week I teach you how to write a media release for an event, and then we're going to practice giving media interviews. It's so much fun. It's going to be way more interactive.
Oh, good. I want that.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Oh, way to go, Mary Blake. Okay, you have a nice evening. I have another call that I'm late for. Yes, me glitch. Bye, Jim. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice seeing you,
Take care.
Felipe. Ciao. Nice seeing
Bye.
you, Bob. Bye, everybody. See you in the other meeting, Mary Blake. Bye.